guys, your buddy Beaner here in lovely Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, and we are at the most badass establishment in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. We are at Kettle Range Meat Market. On the fly with Born to Egg today, we are going to meet with Mark, the owner of this fine establishment. We're going to find out what the hell is up with this whole dry age deal, and these different cuts of meat. And this place is pretty doggone cool, so we're lucky to be here today. Hey you guys, Born to Egg. I'm here with Mark Bearce, the owner, one of the owners, understanding, or the owner? The owner of Kettle Range here in lovely Wauwatosa / Milwaukee area. Mark has been really generous to invite us in today and talk a little bit about dry aging, which I believe this is the only place in the area where you can get such a thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're one of the few places that's doing it. There's not too many places in Milwaukee that even have it, and there's not a lot of people that are doing it.
So what is it, and what's the benefit? Here, pull it.
So, I always tell people, a generation ago, meat was almost always aged. You watch an old movie, and the detective is chasing the murderer through a warehouse of swinging sides of beef.
Yeah.
It used to be that they always aged beef, because
Right.
if you let meat hang, it naturally becomes better.
Okay. Well, why is that?
There's a couple of things that work.
Okay.
But the number one takeaway is that almost nobody does it anymore. The meat industry, which is very consolidated now, is interested in profits above all. When you hang meat, water evaporates out of the meat, it loses weight. How do people make money on meat? They sell it by weight.
By weight.
The meat industry has gotten out of the habit of hanging beef, and one of the main reasons for that is because they want to maximize their profit by keeping as much water in the meat as possible.
That's interesting.
Yeah, things. All of the meat at Kettle Range is hung in the locker for 10 days, like it used to always be done back in the day when your grandfather was buying meat at the local butcher shop.
Yeah.
And then what we do is we'll take a few extra cuts and we'll stick them in the dry aging cooler. We have specific cuts that we like to do that with. We like to do it with bone-on cuts, and we like to do it with cuts that have fat caps on them. And the reason is that those protect the meat while the meat ages.
Yeah, fat up, fat down.
Fat up or fat down. You know what? On all of those kinds of things, I don't often have too much of an opinion, because I think they're techniques. People have their preferences, and I think that if you know what you're doing, they don't have that much influence. So I get asked about searing, reverse searing. I get asked about cooking, all the different methods, and I'm sort of agnostic because I think the temperature determines the quality of the meat determines the quality of the end product, A, and then B, the temperature determines the quality of the end product.
Hell yeah.
We'll put in here and dry sometimes is we'll take whole primals of sirloin.
Okay.
And we'll dry those. That's not traditionally done because you get a lot of loss.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of fat, and there's no bone.
It's lean, sure.
But we found that it makes for a phenomenal sirloin, so we do it.
Okay.
And then we'll also put whole chuck primals in there, with the intention of grinding them for dry aged hamburgers. And the dry aged hamburgers are phenomenal.
All right, so
you keep beef under the right conditions, you can age it for a very long time.
and I see that every now and again. I mean, you guys have some, and one of your butchers was telling me that you've got some customers that request like extra aging. But
I've done special order to about 140 days. Now, we typically dry age between 35 and 45 days because I think that's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
After 45 days, it starts to take on flavors from molds and flavors from the aging that some people really like and other people find it a little bit funky and weird. I'm not a big fan.
Okay, back on.
But other people kill for it. And two things happen during that process. There's enzymes that are present in the flesh that will naturally tenderize the meat if they're left alone over time. So there's an enzymatic process which tenderizes the meat.
Okay.
The other thing that's happening is that you're evaporating moisture out of the meat.
Okay.
So the less water, the more concentration of flavor.
It's all making sense.
Yeah, so during the course of a 35 to 45 day aging process, we'll dry 20 to 30% of the water weight out of that meat. Which is one of the reasons the meat in the cases, if it's dry aged, is so much more expensive. Because that ribeye started off,
the weight
we've got to
loss.
make up for 30% weight
That's right.
loss.
Yeah. That's what I was just going to say. So when you look at that stuff and you say, wow, that's more expensive, the reason being is it's really not. It's just lighter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just reduced.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So these are the tomahawks. These are our most popular dry aged steak. It's basically a bone-on ribeye, but we've left the long bone on it. We've cut the ribeye between each of the ribs, which is why you get a nice thick steak. And then we've trimmed off the end to give it a kind of club steak. That's my best-selling premium dry aged steak.
So a lot of people right now are saying it's kind of a fad, the tomahawk. Do you disagree, or does it come and go? I mean, because you can't always get it all the time, right?
You can get it more and more. It's caught on.
Okay.
People like it because it's dramatic. You know, it's got like the Fred Flintstone feel.
Right.
So I'll have guys that come in and one guy will buy one and he'll take it home and then he'll post pictures to Instagram, and then the next day his best buddy comes in and he wants one that's bigger.
He's got to have one too,
He's not only got to have one, he's got to have a bigger one.
Right. Yeah.
So,
well, right.
but you can see the aging and the color. You can see how the meat is matte or a little bit flat. It's not glistening because there's not a lot of water in it.
Yeah.
A lot of times the meat color will darken up a little bit during the aging process.
So that's 52 days right there.
Yeah, 39. Those sirloins are 52. The picanha, the sirloin cap, that's 52.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you. And how long now, Mark? Have you guys been rolling?
Just over 3 years.
Just over 3 years.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you, I remember when this place opened. It was like, I'll tell you that I think the best thing about this place, hours. I gotta tell you, 7 days a week, 10 through 7. It sounds like a commercial.
Actually, on Saturday and Sunday now we open at 9.
So, all right. So if I was gonna buy, we're gonna buy a couple of things, right? Okay. We're gonna grab a brisket. We're gonna try one of those. I told my wife I was gonna make her a fillet for lunch.
Okay.
So I'm gonna grab one of those. And I mean, I'm just thinking one of those tomahawks just for fun. That thing looks. Sick. I think I gotta do that. And then,
I think we're game for that.
Yeah.
So those will weigh in between 1.5 pounds and 2.5 pounds.
Yeah.
This is probably right around 2. It's about 1.5 pounds.
Okay.
So one of those is good for 2 people.
Okay.
They're big hunks of meat, but they cook really fast again because they're dry.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll love them. I've never heard a bad thing about the tomahawk. We're gonna find that it cooks probably 25 or 35% faster. I always tell people, you're paying that much money for a steak. I always warn people that it's gonna cook faster because you don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be bloody in the middle. It's gonna be more solid.
Okay.
Even if it's medium rare, it's gonna be nice and pink, but it's not gonna bleed so much.
Okay. Really